Returning to that breaking news out of the UK that the British Defence Minister John Healy has resigned, let's go live to our Europe Bureau Chief Mazoe Ford. Mazoe, what's behind John Healy's resignation?
Good evening, Girish. Well, John Healy has just issued a two-page letter in the last 15-20 minutes laying out the reasons for his resignation. He speaks about being very proud to be the Defence Secretary here in the UK and of the work that they have done here, particularly to help Ukraine, within NATO as well. But then he talks about the Defence Investment Plan that he, the Prime Minister and others worked on and completed in January. He says, since then you've been unable, Prime Minister, and the Treasury has been unwilling to commit the resources that the nation needs to defend the country at this time amid rising threats. He said the Defence Investment Plan financial settlement, which he was first made aware of earlier this week, falls well short of what is required for defence and the country at this dangerous time. And he says without the plan that is needed and the investment that is needed, he says he's being forced to make decisions that reduce the readiness of the armed forces here and increases the risk to personnel. So he says that against that backdrop, he cannot continue to be the Defence Secretary here. He says without a Defence Investment Plan that gives the forces the resources they need, he says he's left with no other option than to submit his resignation. This has gone down as a big surprise here in the UK. Just yesterday, actually, I was at a press conference with John Healy as well as the Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper and their Australian counterparts. Richard Marles from Australia's, he was Defence Minister, and Penny Wong as Foreign Minister. And very much the sense we got from that press conference was one of the four working together, the two countries being very close. They spoke at length about the relationship between the two allies and the work being done, particularly on the AUKUS trilateral agreement with the United States of America. In fact, today, just in the next couple of hours, Richard Marles is expected to tour a naval base down in Portsmouth in the south of the UK with John Healy. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not the Defence Secretary is there or who might be stepping in his place. But I think it would be fair to say that the Australians have been blindsided by this, because right up until last night we were receiving messages from the Australian side letting us know about timings of this visit, where to be, what security arrangements we needed to abide by. We have an ABC crew on the way there right now. So it'll be interesting to see how the next few hours plays out in terms of that visit with the Australian side to this UK naval base to discuss AUKUS, a program that has had all sorts of issues and has been in the news a lot recently. And now the minister charged with executing that program here in the United Kingdom has resigned.
Yes, and this resignation comes as, the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, his leadership has been called into question over the past few months. So does this put more pressure on the Prime Minister's leadership?
Oh, look, the answer would probably be yes and no, Girish. Yes, because it is yet another minister that has resigned, and John Healy would arguably be the most high profile alongside the Health Minister, Wes Streeting, to have resigned. However, the situation for Sir Keir Starmer has become so untenable. His leadership is being described as a slow motion coup because there is a by-election in 1 week's time where if the Labor candidate is elected, he is going to challenge for the Labor leadership. We also know the former Health Minister, Wes Streeting, has leadership ambitions, and there will be others coming out of the woodworks. All of this off the back of disastrous local council elections in the UK recently and a series of other missteps and scandals. So it's been a shocking time for Sir Keir Starmer. The Labor Party is less than 2 years into government, and it has been a rocky road the entire time, just about. So this is just yet another nail in the coffin, analysts are saying here, for Sir Keir Starmer, and John Healy being a very high-profile resignation. And just how Sir Keir Starmer reacts now will be interesting, because he will need to appoint a replacement. But just who that will be may well be in that particular job for a short time, because if there is a new Prime Minister very, very soon, if that leadership contest does go ahead and if Sir Keir Starmer is beaten, there's likely to be a cabinet reshuffle when there is a new leader. So very turbulent times in British politics.